your humility is actually humiliating you. Do you ever think about that? Because in all actuality, I think there's a quite a distinct difference between just pure humility and pure being humbled. Um, I don't think humbleness or humility really is something that is uh, fostered by you. I think it's something that happens to you. It's when you're out on a gig and you think like I'm the best playing guitarist or instrumentalist, whoever you are, out here, and no one else in this room can compare to me. Or I feel so ready in what it is that I'm about to do that anybody else trying to uh, do anything is going to produce less of a response in the audience than when I do it. And then someone shows up on stage and shows your ass up, and suddenly you aren't as good as you thought you were. But that's good. That is good humility. You are, in a way, you're humiliated, but to nobody else but to yourself. And I think that feeling is good. It's a catalyst. It pushes you further to say, I need to improve in this area, this area, this area, and this area, because I wasn't even paying attention to this multitude of factors. Whereas I believe there's a negative and a toxic side to humility, where when somebody compliments you, you shirk it off as if it has, I shouldn't say no meaning, but I think you shirk it off to dispel any, like, you know, legend status around you or something like that, or to because maybe perhaps because even you yourself don't think that you've earned it. But I don't think we realize the power that our words have in speaking about these types of things with individuals. Because I think when someone compliments you, like, "Oh wow, dude, that was really good, awesome set, great job last night," and you just go, "Yeah, I mean, it was all right." I think it's good that you can be critical of yourself, but if somebody is going out of their way to come up to you and say, "That was a great job last night," I don't think you should really downplay yourself. You should say, you should, your proper answer should be, "Thank you very much. What do you do? What are you interested in?" Let's strike up a conversation with someone instead of just putting yourself down and being like, "Ah, no, I mean, like, I messed up that one note and that note." Because if someone's coming up to tell you that, chances are either they didn't notice it or they did notice it and they don't really care, because the rest of your musicianship showed through enough to say, to speak volumes for who you are and how you present and conduct yourself. Um, if someone's going out of their way to say that, I think they genuinely feel that way. And, you know, I, I can't deny, I'm certain that there are people out there who are absolutely abusing that to for the sake of networking, where you'll see someone have a really just piss poor performance, horrible, and for the sake of networking, you or this other person in this example will approach this person who sucked at what they were supposed to do and be like, "Oh, that was great, good job. You did a really good job last night." You didn't do a good job. This person's just saying that because they're hoping that because this person has clout in the general area, maybe just maybe they'll allow me the privilege to play with them on a bill someday, and then I can leave them in the dust. I don't have to continue complimenting them. And that's a real concern that you have to look out for. But I think that's where the self-awareness comes in. You should know like I think you're only as good as your your average. Um, or there's also that old adage that you're only as good as you are on your worst day. Realistically, I don't think you're. I'm honestly torn between the two because I feel like the your worst day is it is your worst day. I don't think it's completely representative of you, though. I feel like an average is more well representative of you. I mean, it is the definition of what an average is, correct? So, consider, let's just consider the average. You work so hard at something, and you work and you work and you work, and I think the average shows when you are just mindlessly doing the thing that it is that you're practicing to do, whether that be drums, guitar, singing, bass, piano, something like that. The moments where your mind shuts off and you're just flowing with whatever comes to your mind, that's how good you are. That's precisely how good you are. So, if by yourself you can lean back in your chair and say, "Gee, you know what? I am actually pretty good at that. Good for me for being out for being as adept at what it is I want to do." But don't put yourself down over it. Like maybe you failed here or there. Maybe you missed a note. Maybe you slid wrong. Maybe you forgot to apply the right amount of vibrato. Maybe you even forgot to play a chord. Maybe you played the wrong chord. Well, guess what? People aren't measuring you off of a scale. Like most people aren't out there in the crowd with a checklist going, "Oh, he played that part of the Buddy Holly solo, and he played that part, and he played that part. Very good. Yes, yes, yes." No one's out there doing that. You have to realize that. Um, most of the time, people are just out there to see and experience, and they care more if you're the kind of musician who can reel back and I should say reel back from a potential disaster where you maybe flubbed and recentered yourself and said, "I got this," and then you just go right back into the flow. I think that is the most important skill you could possibly foster. Um, and if you're good at that, then you're good at that. And if someone's telling you that you're good at that, fucking take it, man. And after that, it's up to you to decide whether or not they were being genuine, if they were just trying to be snaky and get in with you because of networking sakes, or if they are genuinely excited about the way you play. You can kind of smell it, you can sniff it out. I think in my experience, the people who have complimented me are usually genuinely pretty ecstatic when they're describing what it is that they're complimenting me on. Or there is a certain level of eye contact or warmth in their presence that just you don't feel when you're being complimented by someone who's solely just trying to basically quote unquote get in bed with you. Um, I I think it's that in itself is a skill that you have to learn, is the skill of discernment. Um, and it's not an easy one, but it's not a hard one either. It's medium, it's average. And yeah, I think anytime anyone comes to you and says, "This is how I feel about what you do," in a positive light, then you should just think back to your average, who you are on not your worst day, not your best day, but just on any day. How good can you be that day without any external factors? anything that's boosting your mood or lowering your mood or hindering your ability to play physically, or, I mean, mood is emotional, so we'll just put a bigger umbrella term over top of it and say emotional. Um, what can you do to optimize your emotions? Um, and if that answer is I'm pretty good, then cool, man, take it. But don't be putting yourself down, because we don't give words enough credit to the power that they hold within us and around us. If someone compliments you and you say, that wasn't that good, well, guess what? Now you just put this vibe and energy out there that you are not worthy of any compliment, basically. Because if someone's complimenting you at what could have been one of your best, you're not taking it at all. You're thinking it was shit. And now, because you in your mind claimed to yourself that it was shit, you just lowered your average exponentially. What was once a pretty good track record of good, 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 bad, bad, good, good, bad, has now just become bad, 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 good, bad, bad. Because you do that enough times, eventually your story that you've written is just bad, 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 meh, 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 meh. And you know why? Because we're exposed to seeing only the best of the best, the cream of the crop for anybody, any given artist's performance. They're like, most artists aren't just going to put up an entire performance that they do of every city that they tour to, every show they play that night, that streak of nights. That's that's just not going to happen. But you have a better chance of finding people who are recording, phone videos of people, artists and bands and such, of just any given night than the best night. Because who's going to choose the worst recorded night and put it out there? So when you're seeing these bands like Radiohead or Black Midi putting up, performances, or I should say the organizations that they uh, played for, or perhaps the venue is putting it up, um, you know, they're not going to do that without the artist's permission, because the artist has to review it and say, yes, that was good. That was a really good set. Let's post it. It'll promote our stuff. Um, look at any given Radiohead performance that's actually well recorded, audio and video, um, is probably going to be some of their best performance. But you're not going to see how poorly, one song may have gone in Warsaw or something like that, or maybe you do. But it's not going to be in like the big, awesome show that's like the most big, cohesive thing ever. I think oftentimes the feeling that other people's averages for how good they are inflated, falsely inflated, I should say, because you don't see them on any given night. You either do see them at their worst, or you mostly see them at their best. So I think we put ourselves at a major disadvantage in that, because now you're experiencing, um, this world where perfection does exist. This false world, this false narrative that can be developed within internet culture, even within yourself. It doesn't even have to be catalyzed by any other constituents of your culture or your peers. It could just be within yourself that you're inflating this average of how good this band is. And are bands like Radiohead or Black Midi good? Yes. Are they great? Absolutely. But to think that they're absolutely 100% all the time killing it is going to kill you, because I don't know. I don't know if I'm just absolutely brain dead in my life by this point, or if I have ADHD that's gone undiagnosed and untreated. But man, I can tell you what, the the rawness of life is so unforgiving. Uh, it's so you have no idea how many times these people who you idolize, who you put to this like divine status, like they're more pure than God. You have no idea how much they probably fail behind closed doors or even on any given night that might not be recorded. And they're probably praying, please, no one see this horrible recording. And you know what? A lot of people probably won't, because if they're not going to choose it to be their their live record that they put out. And if someone uploads a phone video of it, who the fuck is going to watch that? 1,000 people out of the millions of followers that they have? What does it matter? They don't care. Um, I think you should care if you make a mistake. It's not to say be negligent and just and have this massive ego in saying like, yes, I am the best. I am so great. I'm vain. I'm so conceited in my uh, abilities. That doesn't matter, man. That's stupid. That's the same end of the spectrum. It's just you're at the crossover point of being like I suck and I'm great. Those two are mutually exclusive. They're the same. Those are the same person, really. But right in the middle, the truly humble balance, the person who is willing to say, I can be humbled, but I can also humble, is a beautiful state to be in. Because I think the more important words in there is that you can be that. You're not saying that you are this or that. You're not saying that you are to be humbled or that you are the one who humbles. You merely have the ability to do something like that in that moment. And by downplaying yourself as someone that's less than deserving of a compliment, you're putting yourself down too far in the dumps and to a point where you might not even be able to recover from it for quite some time. You won't even know, but the ripple effects will start to gather and grow within your own psyche and your consciousness that even in the moments of quiet practice and repetition, you're going to start beating the shit out of yourself because you think that you deserve it because because some schmuck thought I did really well the other day, and I know I didn't do well the other day. Dude, sometimes you also have to think that like compliments are so rare, especially when you're starting out in anything like music or anything at all, career, um, fucking sex, whatever. Like compliments are rare. To be complimented by somebody is something to be celebrated and to say like, and you don't have to go beyond and be like, yes, I know I was really good last night, thank you so much. You just have to say thank you. Just like like make them feel good for realizing your potential. Make them feel so good. Like push it back on them, not in a way where you're like, oh, well, I'm sure you're good too, because then you might just be a fucking idiot because that person that's complimenting you may not have ever even touched a guitar or an instrument in their life. They just wanted to compliment you. Um, I've been in that situation before. It's weird. Don't get yourself in that situation. It's not. It makes for interesting conversation because then you kind of had to figure out how to pivot out of posing yourself the way you just did. But it's also yeah, I just think that like I don't know. I lost my fucking train of thought. I'm dumb. I'm dumb as shit. Why are you even listening to me? I don't know. Sometimes I have good points. So And here, here I am, doing exactly what I'm telling you not to do. Because guess what? I've done it for so long in my life, that it's kind of built into me. But I'm actively working against it. I'm trying my best to not put myself down so much anymore. You know. So back onto what I was saying. Someone complimenting you should be celebrated. Should be like, thank you for seeing me, thank you for acknowledging the work that I've put in for so long. That even though I may be so obstinate and stubborn in my own mind, you see the potential in me and you reflect it back onto me, and your reflection is fuel for me to keep going. It says that all the hard work that I have been putting in is worth it. And even though if some of my peers don't recognize it, even if I don't recognize it myself, at least it is being recognized somewhere. And if it's genuine and it's true, it is something to be celebrated. Namaste.